Hey, good morning again, everybody. It is Saturday, and to be perfectly honest, as some of you are probably aware, I do not plan these things. I do not write them out. It is basically just a little bit of, just whatever comes to my mind, in the moment type of thing. And that's why it's usually in a parking lot or something. But I wasn't planning on doing this on the weekends. Just because, I don't know, I just, Monday through Friday, maybe 7 days a week is a bit much, but I was, thinking about some stuff this morning and, listening to some things. And when I'm choosing things to listen to, I do it very randomly, and something kept coming up, and I was like, you know what, it's probably coming up for a reason. So one of the things that, I know, has affected me, and I got to imagine it's affected a lot of people, because as I'm doing this, I've had some people reach out to me, and it's all like, Brett, I've always looked up to you, and oh man, this is great. And I mean, what an amazing compliment, truly. So for those of you who have messaged, I thank you, because it gives me motivation, to keep going and keep doing it and keep just, staying on the path that I'm on. But, when I think about that, it's like, do they really think I've got it all figured out? Do I give the impression that I have all the answers on the surface? I feel like maybe I've mastered the, duck on the pond thing, where you're cool and calm on the surface and your little legs are going a million miles an hour underneath. And, I told somebody last night, I'm right there with you, man. I feel exactly the same way. And I think he was kind of like, really? And I'm like, yeah. You think I'd be doing this if I was stable? I'm a mess. And that's okay, because I've done some things in my life, and I think a lot of people have, where I think we all have a lot of beliefs, strong ones. And, in that book I'm reading, The Law of Attraction, it talks about agreements that we have with ourselves. And there's these strong agreements, or these strong beliefs that we have with ourselves, that this isn't possible. It's just not in the stars for me. Or, hold on, my sister's calling. I'll call her back. It's just not in the stars for me. And so I think about some things that have happened to me, and, raise your hand if you've ever done one of those Tough Mudders, or a Warrior Dash, or, maybe you're somebody who's not in shape and never runs, but you did a 5K or a turkey trot with your family. And one of the things that they talk about is a runner's high, or feeling a little euphoric after a workout, because it releases all those endorphins and all those, chemicals into your body. And I think that's true. But I also know that when I finished something that I'd never done before, like my first Tough Mudder, I was terrified. No idea what to expect. I did it with a big group of people out of comfort, because if I was going to fail, so were they. And I thought, well, I'll do it, and I'll do it with a bunch of other people who have the same fears that I do. And that's that herd mentality, right? I'll surround myself with a bunch of equally scared people, and it'll make it less scary. Like going into a haunted house with friends versus by yourself. But what happened at the end of that race, once I got all the way through it, and you're climbing these walls and digging through this thing, and your body hurts and you're tired, and you get done and you're sore, and you would think, you'd be like, oh my God, I'm never doing that again. But that's not what happened. Instead it was, what else can I do? Well, I didn't think I could do that. So what else am I capable of? And then I realized, as I'm doing more of these Tough Mudders and more of these races, because I kind of caught the bug for it, is that look at all these people that are morbidly obese, doing the exact same activity that I am. And how many of them finished saying, what else can I do? How many people ended up on My 600-Pound Life or Biggest Loser, that millions of people tuned in to watch? And you say oh, how do you get on that show? Well, I'll tell you how you get on that show. You make bad decisions for 25 years of your life, and then somebody tells you that you're going to die, or you can't take your kids to the park, or something bad happens, or maybe you end up getting divorced, or somebody leaves you, or maybe you just get to a point where you've just had enough, feeling terrible about yourself. So all of a sudden, that thing that you could never do, lose weight, that New Year's resolution that you could never stick to, It just happens. And it happens over the course of a couple of months because you just committed to it, right? It's burning the ships again. And I think January is supposed to be a positive month. It's like a New Year's resolution month. But what is a New Year's resolution? It's a commitment today to yourself to do something that you told yourself all last year couldn't be done. And then when you get started and you don't see those immediate results, when the 20 pounds doesn't come off, when the new job doesn't come, when that new relationship just doesn't appear on Match.com or Tinder, you give up because that's what you did last year. And I think that it's a mindset thing. It's not about that you're unworthy. It's not about that you can't. It's that you've got a subconscious agreement with yourself that this just isn't going to happen for me. I'm not supposed to have a new best friend. I'm not supposed to find love. I'm not supposed to lose weight. I can't do these things. And maybe it's childhood, you know, maybe you're one of those people who's really introverted, not because it's natural, but because maybe how you grew up. If I was introverted and quiet and calm and I just always did the right thing, then I got affection from my parents. So you went through life being quiet. Or maybe you're someone who was taught to be super competitive and your dad was like, get him. And you're super aggressive and now you're this super extroverted person, but you're doing it because if I'm outgoing, then I'll win. And then what happens when you don't win? It crushes you. What happens when you are nice and docile and nice to everyone and people just keep taking advantage of you? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I can't do A. And then when B happens, it just confirms that A was true all along. You're lying to yourself. And I know it's easy. So I think the best example of this that I keep hearing, and I've literally heard it like over the last 5 days, I think it's come up 3 times in different podcasts, 2 from the same guy and 1 from somebody completely different. And it talks about the 4-minute mile. In 1952, Richard something, I don't remember his last name, Baxter, Bergen, some shit like that. Everybody knew for a fact, it was science, you could not run a sub 4-minute mile. It was impossible. The human body couldn't handle it. Your heart would explode. You'd pass out. The physical limitation of the human body had been reached. Cannot be done. Guy goes out, runs a mile in 3 minutes and 59.4 seconds. Holy shit. What happens next? In 2 years' time, like 30 or 40 other people all of a sudden magically ran a sub 4-minute mile. Was it science? Was it the tennis shoes? Did these guys just wake up one day and get faster? Was it doping? Was it steroids? No, it was, you know what? The mental block was gone. Hey, it can be done. So guess what? It's worth trying. It's worth trying. So now a whole bunch of people went out on the track and all of a sudden that thing that they knew couldn't happen was possible. And then one after the next, they just started doing it. Another perfect example, especially in today's society, right? To say something super taboo as the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. People would have you think it's a setup. The rich get rich because they've got friends who are politicians. The rich get rich because of this reason or that reason. And I'll never be rich because they're holding me back. Or I'll never be rich because of, you know, my ethnicity or my race or my gender or whatever it is. No, it's all bullshit. The rich get richer because they did something, they got rewarded for it, and they keep doing more things. Does that create benefits that the rest of us don't get? Well, yeah. Of course it does. A poor person can't buy a Ferrari. That's not luck. Sure, you can be born into it, but somebody had to do the work. If you had to do something, could you do it? Of course you could. Nobody likes going to the grocery store. You go because you had to. Got to feed your family. If you had to lose weight or somebody put a gun to your head, you'd lose the weight. If you had to get a job to provide for your family and things like assistance and welfare and charity had completely disappeared, do you really think people would just sit at home and do nothing? Would they just watch their families fall apart, even though they were perfectly able-bodied? No, of course they wouldn't. But if we keep taking the easy way, if you keep making excuses for yourself, and if you keep believing those things that you've told yourself over and over and over and over again, and if every time you try to lose 20 pounds but only lose 5, you see that as a 15-pound failure instead of a 5-pound success, you're never going to get there. It's never going to happen for you. And that's true for me. So ask yourself, what are the things that I've told myself that are true that maybe aren't? What are the things in my life that are blocking me that when I try and fail, just go, see, I told you. See, Brett, you're not worthy. I knew it would never happen for me. I'll never be that successful. I'll never be that rich. I'll never be that happy. I'll never be that skinny. I'll never be that strong. I'll never be that fast. They're just better than me. It's genetics. It's luck. No, it's not. It's not. Does genetics have something to play with it? Yeah. I'm never going to be 7 foot tall. Doesn't mean you can't be good at basketball. I'm never going to be the world's fastest runner. It doesn't mean I can't run a half marathon or a full marathon, which I am going to do this year today. Hold me to it. More to come. But read about the 4-minute mile. Find a podcast to listen to. Ask yourself, just pick one thing. What's the one thing that I want more than anything that I've convinced myself I can't have? And then just think about it and ask yourself, why can't I have it? What's the subconscious or unconscious agreement or belief that I've made with myself that is so strong that every time I go to try, my body's like fight or flight response is like, whoa, 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 don't go crazy. It's going to hurt. And you're like, yeah, you're right. I should quit. No, you can't. You can't quit. You're never going to get where you want to be if you quit. Fear is not a motivator. It's just going to hold you back. So what's your 4-minute mile? Figure out what your 4-minute mile is and find a way to beat it. Commit to it. If it's, weight and health, don't hope for 20 pounds and to get off of your blood pressure medicine. Hope for 1 pound a week and to lower your cholesterol. It's going to take time. Anything worth doing does. These billionaires didn't wake up one day. I mean, man, I think about the number of people who won't leave their house, but everybody's going out to drop $20 on a lottery ticket when it's almost $1 billion. But you'll tell yourself no on a $20 thing at the store that you really want. That would make you feel good. So figure out what your 4-minute mile is. Commit yourself. Find somebody to help push you through. And once you're sure it's the right thing, just burn the boats, go at it 100%, and just don't stop till you get there. That's all I got for today. I hope you guys all have a good weekend. I hope that, keep that music coming. I'm going to start trying to get some of those playlists together. And again, I am grateful and humbled and very appreciative of all of the comments and the messages and the people who actually take the time to listen to me talk for 13 minutes and 42 seconds. So have a good day. Have a good weekend. And I'll see y'all next week.